They can monitor your heart rhythm, deliver oxygen, perform life-saving treatments, and keep you stable long before you reach the hospital. No car ride, no neighbor, no self-rescue is safer than that. If you are alone, call emergency services first, even if the symptoms feel mild or uncertain. Put your phone on speaker so you can stay still while talking. Unlock your door immediately so help can reach you if you lose consciousness. These simple actions create a safety net around you before the situation worsens. The takeaway is clear. Help must come to you, not the other way around. Calling as soon as symptoms appear gives you your best chance at survival. Step 3. Maintain blood flow while waiting. Once help is on the way, your next mission is to keep your heart working long enough for it to arrive. A heart attack happens when blood cannot reach part of the heart muscle, and your job in these moments is to buy your body more time. Staying still is important, but there is one technique that can help support circulation while you wait. Imagine Daniel from Minnesota. He was alone in his workshop when a crushing pressure hit the center of his chest. He managed to call for help, but the minutes immediately after felt endless. His hands were shaking, his breathing was shallow, and fear kept rising like a wave he could not stop. Then he remembered something a doctor once explained during a community health class. He sat down, leaned slightly forward, placed his hand gently over his chest, and focused on taking slow, steady breaths. He also gently tightened the muscles in his legs in small intervals, almost like controlled, mild pulses. It was not dramatic, not intense, just enough movement to keep his blood circulating without straining his heart. By the time paramedics arrived, he was still conscious and stable. Controlled breathing is one of the most powerful tools you have in this moment. Slow your breaths until they match a steady pattern, like waves on a calm shore. This reduces the workload on your heart and helps keep oxygen moving through your body. At the same time, very gentle leg tension without moving around can help maintain circulation without raising your heart rate. Do not walk, do not pace, and do not try to stay active. Those instincts work against you. Your heart needs calm, not exertion. Your goal is to stay awake, stay still, and keep your blood flowing with minimal strain. The takeaway is simple. Small intentional actions can help your heart hold on until help arrives. Staying calm, breathing slowly, and using gentle controlled tension gives your body the support it needs during the most critical minutes. Step 4. Position yourself for survival. How you sit or lie down during a heart attack can make the difference between staying conscious and slipping into a dangerous state. Your body is under tremendous stress, and the wrong position can make your heart work harder when it is already struggling. The goal is to reduce strain, improve breathing, and keep blood moving where it needs to go. Think about Sarah from Colorado. She was alone in her bedroom when a tight pressure wrapped across her chest like a heavy strap. After calling for help, she tried lying flat on her bed, hoping it would ease the pain. Instead, the pressure intensified and her breathing became shallow. She panicked, sat up too quickly, and felt the room spin. That spinning fear almost overwhelmed her. She steadied herself, moved to the edge of the bed, and leaned slightly forward with her hands resting on her thighs. Her breathing eased within seconds, and the crushing heaviness became more manageable. By the time paramedics arrived, she was still alert and able to communicate clearly. The safest position during a heart attack is to sit upright or slightly reclined with support behind your back. Leaning forward gently can open your chest and make breathing easier. Avoid lying flat because it can restrict your lungs and increase the feeling of pressure. Sitting in a stable place, like a couch, the edge of a bed, or even the floor with pillows behind you helps your heart work with less effort. If you feel dizzy, move slowly. Every motion should be controlled and calm. Your body is fighting for balance, and sudden movements can make the symptoms worse. Once settled, stay completely still and focused on your breathing. Your only goal now is to conserve energy. The takeaway is clear. Your position is not just comfort, it is protection. Sitting upright, supported and slightly forward, reduces strain on your heart and helps keep you stable until help arrives. Step 5. Stay awake and focused. The minutes between calling for help and hearing that knock at the door can feel endless, and this is where many people slip into the most dangerous mistake. When your heart is struggling, your body may push you toward drowsiness or a foggy sense of drifting away. It feels tempting to close your eyes and wait for the discomfort to pass, but staying awake is one of the most important survival actions you can take. Consider Jason from Texas. After a sudden wave of pressure spread across his chest and into his jaw, he called emergency services and sat down on the floor near his front door. Everything feels normal until a sudden tightness spreads across your chest and you realize there is no one around to help. Your mind races. Is this real? Should you wait? That moment of confusion is exactly what puts so many people in danger. What most people never hear is that the first few minutes decide everything. Survival is not about having medical training. It is about knowing a few simple actions you can take right away. Stay with me, because in the next moments you will learn exactly what to do to stay alive when a heart attack strikes and you are completely alone. You are sitting at home in the quiet of the evening, scrolling through your phone, when a strange pressure creeps across your chest. It is not sharp, not dramatic, just uncomfortable enough to make you pause. You try to brush it off. Maybe it is stress, maybe something you ate. You stand up, hoping it will fade, but instead the pressure grows heavier, like someone placing a hand you cannot see right over your heart. A wave of panic rises, then you push it down. You tell yourself not to overreact. You are alone, and the thought of calling for help feels embarrassing and unnecessary. But then a warm rush shoots down your arm, and the room suddenly feels too quiet. Something is wrong, and you can feel it. Your mind starts racing, wondering what happens next and whether you still have time to act before things get worse. Step 1. Slow down and recognize early signals. Chest pain is rarely the first signal your body gives. The warnings often start quietly, and that is what makes them so dangerous. The moment something feels off, your first instinct is to keep moving, to pretend nothing is happening. But slowing down is the first life-saving step. When your heart is struggling, every second you stay calm gives it a chance to keep working. Think about Michael from Ohio. He was making coffee when a dull pressure began building under his breastbone. He brushed it off as indigestion and kept moving around the kitchen. Minutes later, a deep fatigue washed over him, the kind that makes your legs feel heavy. He still ignored it. Then a small bead of sweat rolled down his forehead, even though the room was cool. That was the moment everything inside him tightened with fear. He realized his body had been whispering to him long before the pain became obvious. Most people wait for dramatic symptoms, but the truth is that heart attacks often begin with subtle changes. A tight chest that comes and goes. Lightheadedness that feels like you stood up too fast. Sudden nausea without a clear reason. A strange pressure spreading to the neck, jaw, or back. These signals may feel mild, but they are the earliest cries for help. When you recognize these clues early, you change the entire outcome. Your heart is fighting to push blood through a blocked artery, and your calm response can slow the damage. Sit down, breathe slowly, acknowledge what is happening instead of arguing with it. Your awareness becomes your first line of protection. The key takeaway is simple: listen to your body the moment it speaks. The sooner you accept that something is wrong, the sooner you can take the actions that keep you alive. Step 2. Call for help immediately. Once you recognize that something is truly wrong, the next move decides everything. Your heart does not have time for hesitation. The biggest danger when you are alone is the urge to convince yourself that you can wait it out or drive yourself to the hospital. That moment of delay is where many people lose their chance at survival. Calling emergency services is not overreacting. It is the smartest and safest step you can take. Picture Karen from North Carolina. She felt a squeezing pressure in her chest while cleaning her living room. At first, she sat down and tried to breathe through it. When the pressure grew sharper, she panicked and grabbed her car keys, thinking she could reach the hospital faster on her own. Halfway down her driveway, her vision blurred, and her hands began trembling on the steering wheel. She stopped the car, terrified, and finally called for help. The paramedics told her later that trying to drive could have cost her her life. When a heart attack begins, your heart muscle is losing oxygen with every minute that passes. Emergency responders bring the equipment, medicine, and speed you cannot give yourself. As the minutes passed, his eyelids grew heavy, and a warm numbness crept through his arms. He kept thinking he would just rest his eyes for a moment, convinced it would help him calm down. But then he remembered a story his coworker once told him about how people sometimes lose consciousness before help arrives. That thought jolted him awake. He forced himself to speak out loud, repeating simple phrases to stay alert. The sound of his own voice kept him anchored until the paramedics reached him. Staying conscious gives your heart and brain the oxygen they need to keep functioning. When you drift toward sleep, your breathing may slow and your awareness fades, which can make the situation worse. Keeping your mind active, even with simple actions, helps you stay present. Focus on steady breathing. Notice the sensations in your body without panicking. Speak to yourself if it helps. Look at a fixed point in the room to steady your thoughts. If you feel yourself fading, sit slightly forward to improve airflow and bring more awareness to your posture. The takeaway is simple. Staying awake protects your heart, your brain, and your chances of survival. Keep your mind engaged and your body alert until help arrives. Common mistakes. When people are alone during sudden chest pain, panic often leads them toward the very actions that put them at greater risk. One of the most dangerous mistakes is convincing yourself that the pain will fade if you just wait. Another is trying to move around the house to grab things, pace, or find a comfortable spot. These movements force your heart to work harder at the worst possible moment. Think about Laura from Michigan. She felt a spreading pressure in her chest and tried to distract herself by walking around her living room. Each step made her breathing heavier, but she kept going, hoping the movement would help. Within minutes, she felt lightheaded and had to grab a chair to keep herself from falling. Only then did she realize how much strain she had placed on her heart. Other common mistakes include drinking water or taking random home remedies, assuming it is indigestion, or hesitating to call for help because you fear it will be embarrassing if it is a false alarm. These choices waste precious minutes. The takeaway is clear. Do not walk, do not wait, and do not self-treat. Acting fast and staying still gives you your best chance at survival. Bonus tip. There is one simple technique most people never think about during a heart attack, yet it can help keep you stable while waiting for help. Once you are seated in a safe, supported position, gently loosen anything that might restrict your breathing. This means unbuttoning a tight collar, relaxing your belt, or adjusting clothing that feels restrictive around your chest or abdomen. These small changes free your lungs to expand more easily, which lowers the stress on your heart. Think about Mark from Washington. He felt a deep, crushing pressure spread across his chest and called for emergency services right away. While waiting, he noticed his shirt collar felt tight, making each breath feel shorter. He loosened it and immediately felt a bit more air moving through his lungs. The relief was small, but enough to ease his panic and help him stay steady until paramedics arrived. The takeaway is simple. Remove anything that restricts your breathing. A small adjustment can make those critical minutes easier on your heart. Conclusion. Moments like these feel overwhelming, but knowing what to do turns fear into control. When chest pressure strikes and you are completely alone, your calm actions become your lifeline. Recognizing early signals, calling for help without hesitation, staying still, supporting your breathing, and keeping yourself awake all work together to protect your heart until help arrives. These steps are simple, but they save lives every single day. If your body ever whispers that something is wrong, listen to it. Your life is worth that call, that pause, that moment of courage. And if this helped you, share it with someone you care about.